So I'm driving to the mastermind put on by Quentin West, the Mansion Mastermind. And I figured this would be a good time to get some talking in about the world of AI, what's going on, how it's going to affect you, how you can jump in and really do your part to make sure that AI is moving in the direction that it needs to. And at the same time, making sure that you keep your finger on the pulse and are not getting left behind. So jump right in. What I see being the largest place that AI is great is at storage and data collection and data recall. It can access the internet at any point in time. It can do all kinds of things that humans can't from that perspective at speeds that we can't even fathom. If somebody asks us to recall this information, AI is going to pull it up so much faster. But where it sucks, where it really lacks, is in its reasoning skills. And AI does not have even a fraction of the reasoning skills that a child would have. So as you're going through and you're using AI and you're playing with it, you need to be thinking, where does AI begin and where do I pick up and where does it end and where do I start and where do I end and where does AI pick up? And you got to find that relationship between the vast amounts of processing that it can do, and you have to balance that with the reasoning that you have. So what a lot of people are struggling with right now is, how do I integrate ChatGPT into my business to become profitable? Well, you take your reasoning to say, here are the tedious things that I have going on, and here are the things that AI can do a lot faster, more efficiently, or even better than I can do it. And you take it for what it is, and you put it in there, and you allow it to do what it's supposed to do, guiding it the entire process, guiding it through every step of the way, making sure that it's doing what it's supposed to do, because you are the human with the reasoning. Like, that's what people don't understand right now, is this is the time to get in with AI, because if you are using it the right way, you will be able to do vastly more than people who don't do it the right way. So I want you to make sure that you're taking an inventory of what's actually happening in the world right now, how things are evolving, because capital A, capital L, capital L, all of the major corporations out there are incorporating AI in some shape or form. So if you're not incorporating it right now, you are just getting left that much further behind. And I can tell you, with just GPT 3, 3.5, and 4 over the past year, I have done years of work from before AI was even there. And this isn't even talking about anything specialized for my business, like our AI VAs or digital assistants who are actually doing outreach for our customers, doing outreach for our clients. And they are the ones that are there helping us actually monetize on the back end from everything that we're doing. I'm just talking about using GPT and OpenAI. If you are going to be doing these things with AI, you need to be finding a way to integrate it to make money. If you're not, you're leaving money on the table and you're hurting your future growth. You are hurting the potential jobs that you are going to be able to provide down the road. So as you grow and scale, make sure you're implementing AI at every step that you can. And one thing that I do with my clients is we go through a process where we go down the line and I say, give me this process, give me as many steps. I want as basic as possible. As if you were explaining it to a 5-year-old and all they had to do is everything you put in that step-by-step procedure that you put together. And so we go through, and there should be over 100 steps for most processes. And as that's happening, we go through and reread it like, oh, this email could be automated. Cool. Put an X next to that. We're taking the human out of that. Oh, this process is finite. It goes through these criteria. We're going to put X's on that, and we're going to create a logic so that our technology can take over that. And now the AI is predictive, and there are predictive models. You don't even have to go that far in depth with it now. All you have to do is go through and put an X where AI can take over, because with the predictive models, the LLMs, the large language models that are out there, they are going to do a lot of the heavy lifting, and you don't even have to code it, you don't have to teach it, you don't have to train it. The majority of the AI assistants that I create right now are just using GPT 3.5. We're not even using GPT 4 Turbo on there to get better quality. We're using 3.5 in these things because it's consistent, we know it, it has proven track records of what it's doing, and now it's predictive. We can not only let it predict itself, but we can predict what it's going to do because we've used it enough, and we put handcuffs on it, we put guardrails to keep it from going off the wall and hallucinating. And that is going to be the next step for everyone else. And as these custom GPTs get out there publicly, as they reopen it so that people can sign up for them, you're going to see people finding a lot more use cases. And the fact that you can API out of those GPTs is going to be huge as well. There are going to be people that bootstrap that together and make it work. And there are going to be people like we are, for our company, we're building our own on the back end using language model, and we are building our own structure on the inside. So there's going to be a lot of different things happening in the AI world, but if you're not involved in it now, you're going to be behind. And I'm telling you, this happened in the 90s. Automation happened in the automotive industry. In the automotive industry, we saw this with the factories. Everything got automated there, and people were like, oh, these robots aren't going to replace us. Well, bullshit, they replace us. This is happening now. This is going to happen to the white-collar jobs. It's going to happen to marketers. It's going to happen to sales appointment setters. It's going to be across the board. AI is going to start taking over. If there's information to be given, it can give it more efficiently than you can. So what you need to do, make sure you build systems around that fast access to data and implement the human element where you need to beat the people who only use AI. There's never going to be a replacement for humans. If I want to talk to a human, I want empathy. I want to know that I'm talking to a human that understands the human plight that I'm going through, the struggles that I have as a human. I don't want an AI telling me that my thoughts are emotional or they're not logical. I want a human that says, oh shit, I understand that. Here's how we can solve it. Here's what I've been through. Here are the things that I've done. Here's what I've worked with other people. With AI on the back end, helping recall the information and helping pull it, because that is the only way it works in conjunction. So as we grow, as we scale, implement AI everywhere you can. So I want you to remember this. Humans are great at reasoning. AI sucks at reasoning. Humans are not so good at data recall. AI is amazing at data recall. If you can find that spot in the middle where you can meet with AI, that's going to be where the money is. That's where the power is. That's where the amazing client experiences happen. Is if you can make fast response time meld with human empathy, you will be able to do anything you want in your business. This thing's getting better at coding. It's getting better at math. It's good at predictive language models, so it can build a conversation. It can write emails. It can do all these things. And what we're finding too is a lot of these systems in theory sound like, oh yeah, well if I can go ahead and do it, then AI can do it. Well, we have to do APIs, we have to do calls over. There's a lot of tech that happens on the back end that you're just not going to be able to have happen overnight. So people like Maverick at our company, we are building out systems that API over, and they do calls and they'll pass data between things. But then you have other companies who are building these AI so they can actually log in. They're not actually getting into your system and taking the data out directly. Now, don't get me wrong. There are people out there, if they tell you that the AI isn't taking data from your system, they're lying to you, because if you as a human get into this system and you read something, you took the data. You have the data. Now, do you remember it? Do you store it? Do you recall it? Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. You can't take somebody's knowledge and say, oh, you have that knowledge, give it back to me. For AI, it never forgets. So if these companies are coming in telling you they're logging in and they're not taking your data, they're full of shit. And what you need to do is be careful with the access that you give them, because if they get in that system with their login, they can get anywhere that login will allow. So you need to be able to prepare for that. You need to make sure that you're good with your firewalls. You need to talk to your IT professional and say, okay, if I give this AI system access to my platform, what can it access? How can we minimize the access? Or you go with the company who's honest and says, hey, it's easier just to build an API in here. It's easier to build this out so the system has direct access to everything and pass between, and we do other systems to pull data out and interact with the human outside of the system. But we have this ironclad non-disclosure agreement, so you got the NDA on file, and you're making sure that the company is liable if any data breaches. Because if you don't have that, then you're really just going at their word, and if they lied to you and told you the data isn't going to be pulled out of the system, well shit, now what do you do? Where's your leg stand on there? Now you're going to have a battle with the entire AI industry, and that's going to have to change things down the road. You need regulations in place for this, but it starts with the contract. If you are going to sign up with somebody, read the contract, see what data they can access, see what they can actually do with your systems, and make sure that you have a good NDA, make sure that you have data breach contracts with the companies, because this is going to be the next wave. This is a frontier. We don't know what AI is going to be doing in these systems, and we need to safeguard. I'm all for moving forward, but you as a consumer, if you are looking to implement AI, have these conversations with the AI company that you are looking to implement into your own systems. One other thing that we're really seeing now too is a shift from how can AI help an attorney, how can AI help an insurance brokerage, how can AI help a mortgage brokerage, if they can't, like legally, a human can't answer questions if they're licensed. If they're not licensed, then you have to worry about saying that you're licensed. It's a whole big legal thing. But if somebody's licensed and they answer these questions, they have to watch how they answer them. They have to make sure they're correct. And if you answer too many wrong, you don't have that license anymore. And now AI is coming in, and don't get me wrong, it's answering things correctly because it has access to it, so it can answer them, but they're not licensed. So what I've run into in my insurance brokerage and in mortgage building processors is we have to get licensing. So for an AI system to contract with some of these mortgage brokers to be a processor who doesn't have to be licensed to begin with, we actually have to have them as a licensed mortgage broker. They have to pass the license exam. So every one of our AI systems are getting licensed to be the mortgage, insurance. If it's the attorney AI, it has to be licensed, it has to pass the bar. So what you need to look at here too is credentials. What is your AI system going to do? Is it going to put my license on the line, or is it actually going to do what I need it to do and not get me in trouble with the insurance regulators or mortgage regulators? And you have to make sure that you are in compliance with these things. This is a new frontier with AI. And if you are not on the front of the compliance, you're going to get smacked in the face with it. So right now, what I want to implore to everybody is that we need to be very cautious as we move forward. Do I want to move forward fast? Hell yes, I do. I love what my AI systems are doing. I love what they're doing for my clients. I love what they're doing for my partners. I love what they're doing for me and my company. They're amazing. But what's going to need to happen is we need regulation to start at the top. And OpenAI, Google, XAI, all of these AI systems at the very, very top need to be regulated. When you're making a large language model of these sizes, they need to be regulated. They need to be reporting to somebody who has oversight. At the lower level, we need to be worrying about compliance. We need to be making sure that when we implement this into a company, it doesn't solve one problem and create a bigger problem. So one of my goals is to make sure that we are focused on compliance every step of the way as we build this out and as we grow our AI systems. So with that, again, I'm on my way to the Castle Mastermind, Mansion Mastermind. Quentin West has invited us out here. I'm looking forward to hearing a few people talk. Sebastian and Russ talking about podcasts and how amazing they are and how much they suck if you don't have one. And a few other people online are going to be fantastic. I'm really excited about getting out here, just hanging out with a group of winners who are driven and they are doing some amazing things in the business space. And I'm excited to talk to Airbnb with Quentin. This dude knows his shit, and he will absolutely blow us out of the water with this. This is the coolest thing I've been to, going up in the mountains in Asheville, and we have a blast. So keep an eye out for some more content coming from the Mansion Mastermind here, and I'll be talking with you guys once I get there. I'll probably record throughout the drone, so I'm probably going to take it out to a full 360 around this place. But I'm really excited about this, man. This is going to be a good weekend. Now I'm going to stop recording while I drive. Ooh, that truck got really close to that van that was dead on the side of the road. All right. Peace.